Here are 3 questions to ask your EMDR therapist when you're looking for EMDR therapy. The first one is, what level of training do you have? So when it comes to EMDR therapy, there's a couple of different levels. There's basic EMDR training, and in basic EMDR training, there's level 1, there's level 2. And then once you complete level 1 and 2, and then you complete a certain number of EMDR sessions and consultation, then you become EMDR certified. So you want to find out what level certification the person has. Some people have fully completed their EMDR certification and they're an EMDR consultant or consultant in training, and that's an even higher level. Okay, so number 1, what level of training do you have? Number 2, how many years have you been using EMDR for? You want to know if the person's just getting used to this treatment modality or if they have experience with it. And the reason it's important is because myself as an EMDR therapist and someone who provides consultation to other therapists utilizing this method, there's a big difference between the kind of therapist who's just getting acquainted with the method to the kind of therapist that really has, confidence and skill in navigating, applying, the method to you and your symptoms, okay? So that's number 2. So number 1, what level of training? Number 2, how many years are you using this therapy method for? The third one, and probably the most important one, is can you tell me about the other skills that you have in addition to EMDR? The reason I say this is because of this. So many times people reach out to me because, they are EMDR trained or becoming an EMDR therapist, or clients reach out and they say, I've tried EMDR, but it's not working. Or a therapist might say, I don't know, EMDR is not really working for my clients. Or, I learned this and it's supposed to help, but it's just not fitting. And what often is happening there is that they're trying to apply, either the client in therapy is with a therapist who is trying to apply just a very basic, simplified approach of EMDR to the client and their symptom presentation, and it's really missing the point, or it's missing some other incredible aspects at play. Or the therapist, if it's a therapist, is really not skilled enough in terms of really comprehensive anxiety or trauma or whatever it is, treatment, and they're just trying to apply the tool. And the reason it's important to ask your therapist what other training they have is because EMDR as a standalone method is only efficient up until a certain point. What I mean is, EMDR is an incredible tool. It's like a tool in the toolbox. And I always say, if you're just going to be an EMDR therapist without any other skills, then you're not going to be efficient. One of the most important things that I've seen for myself in my own clinical practice and in my practice at integrative psychotherapy, where we have clinicians that are all trained in EMDR and are skilled in understanding trauma and anxiety and attachment and really have a comprehensive lens. If we were to utilize just a one focused approach, we wouldn't be efficient. And so for you, when you're seeing your therapist, what you really want to make sure is that, they're getting to see who you are. They do a really proper assessment and intake so that they're not just listening to you saying, hey, I want EMDR. Of course you want EMDR, but they are thinking about who you are, what your symptoms are, what your goal is for treatment, so that they can blend and integrate EMDR into a treatment that's really good for you. If you have relational dynamic issues, if you have obsessive thoughts, if you have, attachment trauma, if you have just hyper anxiety, if you have depressive symptoms, if you have whatever it is that's going on, or these, unconscious pull towards unhealthy relationships or power struggles, or you get really angry, whatever it is, you want the therapist to be thinking more broad than just going through the basics of assessment for EMDR. So I just want to name that because, what you want to be looking for is a very skillful, wise, and advanced clinician, as well as EMDR as a tool. Just wanted to put it out there because I've worked with people who said, I tried EMDR, it didn't work before, how come it's working now? And so what I say to them is, EMDR is really just a tool. You need to have a really skillful, wise, and experienced, and mindful, and self-reflective therapist who gets really good consultation, really knows how to utilize this tool, and really is listening to you and your story, right? In good therapy, it's never just about a tool and we're applying it to you. It's I want to get to know you. I'm going to bring all my skills, all my knowledge, all of my humility and my humanity. We need to develop a really good therapeutic relationship. And while we're doing that, we're going to start working through there's 8 phases of EMDR therapy, 8 steps. So we're going to start working through the first few steps as I'm developing the therapeutic relationship, so we're accomplishing two things in terms of the introduction and the choosing targets for therapy overall, and then targets for EMDR. And then we're going to start doing some processing, right? While we're also making sure that your life is functioning and you're starting to feel symptom relief, sometimes in, different aspects of therapy, and then some of it might be with EMDR processing. So those are three things that you want to ask an EMDR therapist when you're looking for EMDR therapy is number one, what level of training do you have? Number two, how many years are you using therapy for? And number three is what other skills or what's your therapeutic approach in using EMDR? And you might even say how do you navigate complex issues, or how do you navigate when, have you worked with complex trauma, or have you worked with, and then name your symptom, right? Anxiety or relationship issues. You want to make sure that the person you're going to isn't just like going to put you into the 8-phase EMDR model, but it's more like they're going to meet you and they're going to apply their knowledge and their wisdom and the EMDR skills to you and your personal healing. Because that's when you'll get the most out of this treatment method. I hope this is helpful. If you want to learn more about EMDR therapy, or if you live in New York and you are ready to engage in good healing, check out our website, linked below, and we would be happy to be a resource to support you in your therapy and your emotional recovery today.